Hey, this is Tracy Lewis from Stuff and Things. I wanted to take these 3 cards that I made and put on my blog into, these are simple stamped single layer cards, and now I want to make them stepped up cards. So I am going to do a couple of things that I have in mind. I don't tend to make my cards before I video. I kind of make them as I go. So on this particular card, I'm going to cut out, and I'm not the best fussy cutter in the world. Gonna get a little more light here. So this sentiment has been trimmed out. I already have 3 thick bases made. I tend to, with most of my cards, use white bases. It makes it easier to write the message and is very cost effective for compared to the other options out there. I'm going to trim this up a little bit more. This one, I do want to trim a little bit around the edges. A trick that you can do, I think I've talked about it before, is to take whatever you've cut that you know is the width you want, and then line it up underneath, and this one lines up perfectly, to make sure that your subsequent cuts are the same thickness, and you can just do checks if you're not sure by using that technique I just showed. Now this one, I want to check, and that will work. So this one, put in a pile over here. Oops. Where is my sentiment that I just had? Oh, I moved it. This one will have these 2 elements popped up. And the third one, now, what I want to do with these is add some embellishments, and because I just received my embellishment order, I thought I would share the embellishments that I bought for the year. I tend to buy I do 4 orders a year, big orders, for my own crafting purposes, and I try to get at the beginning of the year any of the embellishments that I want to last throughout the year. So I did buy, and of course you can see here that I'm picking different color schemes. I have the gold. This actually was a limited edition item, and it came back this year in the catalog, so I'm using the ones that actually came from the limited edition sale. And a lot of them, like the metallic pearls, these epoxy pearls, these are all from last year. This is the new in colors. I've already used half of them doing in color projects. And these two. So I'm going to try to see. I want to use the new items for embellishing. And this is all of the, what I would call new, that I have purchased that are new, not from last year's catalog. This one, again, was a limited edition only for the holiday catalog. No, it wasn't even a holiday catalog. This was a limited edition suite. So these guys, I think, are so pretty, and I want to show you one of the many things that I've done in my life is making jewelry. And the faceted, and I couldn't tell till I got them. The pictures just do not do these justice. Oops, and I lost one. Off it went. I'll have to go fish it up. So here you have, let's see if I can move my light up. They are faceted, and this is a like a cushion facet or a rose facet on stones that you would put in jewelry. So they're very three-dimensional and very pretty, and I love that they are all three pretty neutral colors. So if I put them up next to this, I think that they will be very pretty on these 3 cards. So this is what I had in mind, but I did want to show you all of my new stuff. I store them, by the way, so I have a varied storage system, and it's mostly of different storage things that I have purchased over the years, bought at garage sales, and I've fine-tuned them for travel in the trailer. So this is the other embellishments, and they are a flat. They look like they have some doming, but they're flat on top. And they are a matte finish. And I thought these would be really fun. I miss my glitter dots, I will tell you. But in the meantime, I've got the gold glimmer, or glitter. And then these new ones, like I said, are new and different, and I love to try new and different things. So that's those. And let's go back to my case. So these are from Michaels. You can buy them individually, or you can buy them in a bigger case. I think that's how I bought these, where you get 10 of them in a big case, and they're stored vertically. And what I do in this particular case is store all of my flat style storage. All of these flats that are on sheets go in here. And then I have some very old, this isn't how they now, I have linen thread. I have a round one that they got that's on a spool. That was our most recent one, and this is a partial, and this is how they used to send them. So that's how I store the flats. I have this unique round case that I store my spools. In fact, here's the linen in the spool format. These, I think, were on clearance when I bought them, so you can't buy them anymore. But I love that I can throw all of my round case style embellishments, and they have these little dots that hold them in place. So this is how I store my round shaped things. Trim actually goes in zippered clear plastic pouches. So inside this was a sheet. In fact, here it is, bed sheet, that has a metal square that holds its shape, so I picked it to use of the many that I have. And then the trims, all of the neutral colored trims, that is, which 90% of what I buy is the neutral colored trims. This was probably a pillowcase set, I would imagine. And then the loose, I'll bring this out, the non-white or neutral trims get just thrown in the bag. And I have very few of them. I think this year I have like 6. I also put in this hard plastic case, which I think was from the dollar store. This holds my liquid type things. It's a Versamark, a Memento Black, some retired acrylic, and my Gilder's paste. A rub and buff is what I bought, which is a smaller size than the Gilder's paste. So that all goes in here so that if something breaks when we're traveling, it's safe and won't. And then I even with my Gilder's paste, they're in baggies inside this case. So for me, it's important that my storage be safe when it comes to my liquid or anything that would make a mess. I try to make it so that it can't hurt anything else. And I keep them all packaged up. So now let's get back to these cards. I have today the new Stampin' Seal, which I have not used yet. It is brand new. I will say that the lid, I'm worried about me losing it. I'm sure it costs more money to have it be hinged and stay attached. So I'm going to just go and say I will probably be losing this. And where I'll probably store this, I have this little, it's got tapes, an eraser, and a sharpener, and little tiny baggies. So it'll probably just go right here, and it slides underneath my laptop on my desk. So it'll just stay on my desk. So that way I can just grab it. It's going to be the most easily grabbable space that I have, and it will always be on my desk for whatever I'm doing. Okay, so let's just do this one first. I am simply going to pop this up. Oh, and my dimensionals, I should mention that I store all of my adhesives, the awkward shaped adhesives, in another Doris case. I have my dimensionals, dots, and tear and tape in here. So, just trying to make room here in my pile. My other trick, I've probably said it many times, is that for doing small bits, I always cut my dimensionals in half. I learned this long ago at some of my first stamping events that I attended with my, would call it my grand leader. So she's not my team leader, she's my team leader's leader. So I always keep a strip cut in half, and then these are the whole ones, and they are used for larger pieces, like a big strip like this. Okay, the trick, I know that some people have had difficulty with these, and the trick is that you push with a fingernail, bringing up an edge, and that is the easiest way to get your dimensional to pop off for you. Okay, I tend to do always vertical tent cards, so this will become a horizontal tent. I like to put things in thirds, so I will set this offset just like it was before I popped it up. I have these wonderful, very neutral colored stones. Love them. All right, and that is one card done. What more could I do to it? I could add a trim with a bow offset maybe underneath here. And by the time I do the photographs for this, and I will do a showcase at the end, like I always do, and I will, if I add the trim, you'll see a picture of it with the trim. Love these. The colors, this is, I'm gonna say crumb cake, and that is early espresso. Second one is going to be very similar to the first, but I have this cut out, and I'm going to see, I might not like it this way. If I don't like this popped up, I will perhaps cut out a new one and use a punch, and we'll just see, because so far I'm liking what that looks like. I just don't know if when I trimmed it out here, if I can make the trim piece work. So I have these halves, and like I said, I'm going to try to use this sentiment that I trimmed out. So I have it popped up. I can even add a third half. So this is an example of why I always keep halves around. All right, so this time I've got my tent. It's going to be vertical. And so see how the edge is not coming up very easy for me. I just push with my fingernail. That releases it from the adhesive and makes the top layer easy to remove. And if I wanted to make these, so I'm making what I would call a casual crafter style card. Easy to put together. But I could always add, to make them more avid style cards, I would be adding another layer. Probably not a popped up layer. It would be either a color layer or an embossing. I could even emboss this white behind if I wanted to. Now we're going to see if this works. But for wanting to go through and create 3 fairly quick cards and show you the embellishments. Actually, I think that looks just fine, so I like that. This is a slightly crooked. If I show my husband, he will immediately notice. He is my crooked tester. If it gets past him, it is not crooked. All right, so now I'm going to do something with these. I'm going to, with these clear ones, color. So I'm grabbing a brown. This is bronze. I want something darker than the bronze. And the darkest that I have is dark soft suede. And since I know I will always have the opportunity to use browns, I want to see, so these are, these look like kind of a glittery mother of pearl and then clear. So we're getting these dark. Might even use both. Okay. Blowing now. They do take a long time to dry. I should have thought of pre-coloring them, but I wanted you guys to see how this works. So this is dark crumb cake. And I'm not sure how it's going to change the color, but I'm just curious. If I can get 2 different color tones going. Like that. This is how I do things. I'm pretty spontaneous. Sometimes I'll have a Pinterest pin, and today I have no Pinterest pins in front of me to get me started. And when I played with these, the first ones that I made, I also didn't have any Pinterest ideas up. Most of the Pinterest ideas for the Forever Fern are all green, and I really wanted to try the neutrals. I saw that they would make really pretty neutral cards. Looking for the spatula tool. I am afraid these are still wet, so I'm going to be very careful how I place it. Now, a trick that I have learned is do not press on the adhesive till you know it's really what you want. So they're just kind of setting, which gives me an opportunity to move them around a little bit. See there, you can feel it's sticky, but it will still move. I probably am going to scoot this guy off, like so. And I would like the small one. I like to alternate the sizes, love the idea of the multiple sizes. And I have to find a place for this guy. I like to look and see where I would like my little guys to go. Yep. I picked a tough one, didn't I? I think I'm going to settle for right here. And really what I'd like to do, but I think, let's see if I can do it. What I want to do is swap, since these are 2 of the darker color. Sometimes the fussing with the embellishments actually takes me the longest. Alright, I'm going to commit these guys by pushing on them. I don't want to push with my fingers because I don't want my fingers to get gooey. And then that is the second card done. This third guy has some really dark, so I'm going to grab my darkest, but I don't want the black, so I'm going to try dark smoky slate, or I believe that this color here is gray granite. So let's just see what it looks like coloring. I might have to use the basic black, even though it's early espresso, because I don't have early espresso. See, this isn't going to be dark enough. You really have to use very dark colors to get them to show. So let's go with black. See, what I was afraid of is the case. It's a little on the bluish side. What happens if I color it on here? We'll see how that dries. I think this is interesting as a possibility, so I will let those all dry. And while that dries, I can adhere. And typically I will not pop up a layer like this. I will just do, if I'm just going in a little bit, I will keep it flat. I find with my this is a very quiet seal. This is my first time. I'm expecting a sound. And I don't do solid lines. It doesn't want to pick up. But again, you're seeing me maiden voyage use this. I just used a trick that I've used before, and that's if I draw an inch and I go sideways, that seems to be the way to get this to break off. And that is what I'm going to have to do. It's a little messy, not perfect, but for my first time using it, not bad. This is not, the Seal Plus is the sticky that is the permanent, more permanent adhesive for thicker materials. I see that I do not want to go hard. So again, like the rhinestones, when I cut this and I folded it, it's a little offset, so I'm going to use the other side. I don't want to push my materials on permanently if I need to move them around. Okay. That will work. Now we're going to see we're going to use the light tan colored with dark. That is what I like the best so far. Yep, I think those look very cute, so I'm gonna try another one. I think I might have to move this guy. This one. Oops, he went flying, but not too far. I might not like that. So let's see what happens if I just put them up in the on the leaves. All right, that one is the third one finished. So I have played with some new embellishments, talked about storage, played with seal, talked about coloring, using the blends, and some storage ideas. And here are my 3 upgraded to casual crafter style cards. And I hope you enjoyed kind of seeing my process. And thanks for watching.